Up to date, how to sharpen a chainsaw using the Chicago Electric Power Tools Electric Chainsaw Sharpener by Harbor Freight. Hey everybody, this is Tool Dude Tony. I'd like to welcome you to another episode of How to Fix Shit 101. On today's episode, we're going to talk about chainsaws, specifically the blade and how you sharpen it. And we're going to use the Chicago Electric Power Tools Electric Chainsaw Sharpener to get the job done today. Now, let's talk anatomy of this thing for a moment. This is the chainsaw sharpener. This top part pivots down. In this top part, you have a motor with the grinding wheel. The grinding wheel's right here. This is replaceable if it does wear out. It has a handle on the top here for pushing it down into the blade itself. It has this brake handle like on a bicycle. This basically locks the blade in place. Now this bottom section is called the vise. It has several different features to it, one of which is this miter gauge down here. There's a knob underneath that you can loosen and tighten that allows you to change the angle that you actually do the cuts on the blades. This little knob here in the center, this is just connected to the cable that is connected to that brake handle that we talked about earlier. These two big knobs at the end are the tractor feeds. They thought it would be easier compared to their old model to allow you to basically turn these so you wouldn't actually have to touch the chain when you do the sharpening. I find them kind of useless and want to just drag the chain through by hand. So now this device in the middle here is called a chain stop. It works in conjunction with this other knob back here to adjust just where the grinding wheel is going to hit that blade from a kind of side to side thing. Now on the top of this thing you've got your on and off switches. And you also have this knob down here. This is for adjusting the depth for just how far this thing can go down and cut into the blade. Now let's talk about the chain anatomy a little bit. Help you understand what we're doing and why. On the chain you have links just like a bicycle. Some of the links are made up of just little flat bars. Other links are made up of the actual blade themselves. This is a cutting blade right here. You're now looking at two chains from the top view. Again, this is that little blade piece that we talked about. If you notice the difference between these two, this chain on the left has not been sharpened, so the length of the blade piece itself is pretty long. Now the blade on the right's been sharpened probably a couple of times, and it's considerably shorter. Okay, now on the chain there is a right side blade and a left side blade. And when we sharpen this chain, we're going to do all of the blades that are facing one direction, and then change that miter gauge around and then do all of the blades that are facing the other direction. Okay, let's get a chainsaw blade in place and get started on this. Okay, you recall we talked about the top of the blade. They have a cutting edge and then the square back off. The cutting edge is angled, the back side is square to the chain itself. We want to go ahead and put the chain in the vise so that the cutting edge is towards the right. We'll just flip this little stop up as we put it in here. Basically just set it in the groove so that those bottom feet go right in that groove and it just sits in place. Okay, I've already determined that the angle that I want to cut and sharpen this blade at is 30 degrees. So I'll set this miter gauge to 30 degrees, reach up underneath and tighten that big plastic nut underneath there. Make sure that that stays tight and secure. I need to set up the depth for where this grinder is going to hit. If you look, you can see I'm hitting actually up here on this point. So I need to turn this knob back here a little bit to the right to push that, see how the blade's sliding forward? Okay, I'm going to keep doing that then until the blade is hitting right about where I want it. See how that's moving? Okay, I just slipped off that bump. Now we're right up against the blade, it's not cutting. A little more. There we go. Now I'm just hitting it just a little bit and bring it back a little bit. Okay, you hear that? It's just barely touching the blade. That is about where we want it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead then and turn this lock nut so that that stays in place. I'm going to test this one more time to see where it's hitting. That feels just about right. Okay, I don't want to go too deep when I cut this either because that could ruin the chain. So I'm going to bring this down and then adjust this knob on top here until it's just the right depth. Take a look from this side, you can see it a little bit better. When I turn it down, you can see that there's a lot of gap here between the blade and the chain itself. I'm going to go ahead and turn that down. You see how it's dropping there? So that grinding wheel stops just underneath the tip of that blade there, like maybe about 1/16 of an inch. So it's just passing through the blade itself. Maybe I'll bring that up just a hair, right about there. That looks about right. And then once I have it adjusted, I'll turn this lock nut in place, and then it'll be set. Set it and forget it. All right, before we get started, let's talk shop safety for a moment. Hey, you only have one set of eyes, so let's take care of them. Let's wear some goggles, protective goggles, to make sure that we don't get shards of metal flying off of that grinding wheel into our eyes. Also consider wearing a pair of gloves. Keep this sharp blade from getting into your little precious fingers and screwing them up. That would not be cool. Turn the grinder on. I'm locking the blade in place, see, by gripping that wheel. I'm just going to go ahead and push down with the grinder. And that's it with that one. Now I'll go ahead, see the brake is loose. I'll go ahead and move, you can use these toggle dogs to move it to the next blade that's facing that direction, which is this one. Make sure it's pushed back there tightly. Put the brake on again. Bring the grinder wheel down. Okay, and we keep moving. Now once we've completed all of the blades that are on the right side, we need to do the other side. To do that, we need to change the angle of this vise to 30 degrees in the other direction. Tighten down that nut underneath. Okay, I'll hold this. Okay, that looked pretty good. Let's go ahead and do all of these. So you skip one, go to the next one that's pointing that direction, clamp on it. Okay, didn't get enough cut, so I'm going to grind this, twist this in a little bit. Okay, just barely touching it, that's perfect. Next blade, lock it. Now let's put the chainsaw back together and we can take this for a test. Okay, when I started this video, it was 60 degrees and it was sunny and it was really nice. But Nebraska winter kicked in, folks. Yeah, baby, we got ourselves a blizzard. But I wanted to show you how that chainsaw actually cuts. So I'm out here in this frozen cold and I'm gonna cut me a log. I mean, with the chainsaw. All right, like as always, let's talk shop safety, guys. You gotta use those eye protection and the earplugs. Chainsaws can make you go deaf. Well, so can some other things, but definitely a chainsaw. Let's cut some wood. Through a piece of oak. That is some tough wood, and that thing cut through it pretty decently. So I'm going to give this thing 2 thumbs up. Well, if I had, you can see them, yeah, but they're both up. Yeah, 2 of them. Okay, guys, and that's how you sharpen a chainsaw using this Harbor Freight chainsaw sharpener. And that's proof that it actually does work. I hope you like this video, because I'm freezing my noogies off. If you do, press that like button down there and subscribe to my YouTube channel, because I'm in it for you guys. This proves it. Yeah, so, yeah, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And remember, if you're not fixing it yourself, you're paying somebody else to fix it. Why am I yelling? Get out there and fix something. I think my voice box is frozen on loud. Shit, man, it's cold out here. Holy crap, but it works. Toodaloo. Now I'm out of here. Yeah, baby, that's what I'm talking about. Get yourself one of these tools, man. Yeah, baby, that's what I'm talking about.